everyone, and welcome to yet another Project Atla build video. Now, a quick explanation. I'm actually going to show you what we've ended up with, and then I'm going to essentially let you guys watch me building it, because it's actually a fantastically weird way of me doing things, I will admit. But that being said, let's see what we actually got. So you may be looking at this thinking, oh, this is probably right where the unload is, or roughly where he left off. Well, no. This is the inspection vehicle, which I don't know if you guys ever saw me using, but it's the inspection vehicle. This is what I used to verify that the cars can actually get around the track normally. And speaking of getting around the track, I think I fixed the issue? Question mark. I think it might have actually been an issue regarding the vehicles or something with springs. I don't know. It might even have to do with something way off in the distance that's not supposed to actually be in the world. And the way that I fixed it was actually using a mod that I never have used before, but I found very useful, which is the World Cleaner cubed. Or specifically, I used the Loose World Cleaner block right here, which, as it says, destroys only creations that are loose or not connected to the ground or on a lift. I used it, and suddenly stuff started working. So, I do think it was an issue with the electromagnet mod. I think that there was something that is wonky about that mod that just doesn't like big creations. I don't know, honestly. It's very weird. So, that being said, stuff is working. Now, this is the inspection vehicle. There's actually two vehicles in the world right now. The inspection vehicle and a custom built vehicle that you'll see me building in the video, and I'll show you how exactly it all works. But before we get to that, we have to see what exactly is going on. So first of all, you'll notice that there's a wall here. And you'll notice that there's in fact starting to be an actual proper area now. This is, well, specifically, this is unload right here. So that means that if you guys remember the track plan, this means this is the door that goes to storage. And this is the hold to go into unload. And you can see that I've got some stuff over here, and you can see I've actually started building onto the rest of the track. It does look like there are track pieces missing. Don't worry, that's just a visual glitch. It drove me nuts too, but it's just a visual glitch, so don't worry about that. So, in order to figure out where exactly the other vehicle is, we actually get to use the track switch. Now, this... You'll watch, I struggled with this track switch way more than I should have. I could have done this in so many easier ways. I decided to go with possibly the hardest way I could have. And it shows. But that being said, at the end of the day, it does work. Now, you'll also notice that in the video, I've got two things that you never see me build, which is this door right here, which is an access door. Ooh. And then this panel right here. Ooh. And these are both for, crew member or ride operators can get to this area, and if need be, can evacuate a ride vehicle from the holding section through this door right here, which just goes into backstage, and we'll be venturing back there in just a second. But first, let's see what this does. So this is actually a switch that does the wrong thing. Oh boy, I screwed up already. There we go. You saw none of that. There we go. So now you can see the way that it works is the first section of track slides back, and then the straight kind of rises up. And you'll notice that it rises up a small bit higher than normal, and then it lowers down. I was having trouble with the track locks. Because this goes up and down, it's essentially a block that slides into place that doesn't let it slide down any farther, if you will. And it also opens up the door. And that is the second vehicle. And something that, and again, like I said, this is such a stupid way of doing it. I did it in the track switches in all kinds of weird ways. I'm actually partially using the curve And if I... We'll go back there in just a second, so don't worry. If I have this lower down, you'll see that there is this straight piece right here that is not being lowered. That's because that's actually part of the curve. So, like I said, I did it in a really weird way, and I don't know why I decided to, like, build it in that specific manner, but it's built. So I'm just going to have to live with it for the moment. And eventually I might kind of reevaluate how it works, because it does kind of offer some problems. So let me go ahead and close that. And this door just lets me go into the storage area, so we will say that in just a second after we drive up to the unload. You can see this is one of my lovely janky curves. The jankiness is real. Now then, as we get up to here, this would be roughly where it stops, and you'll notice that the track inspection vehicle does not have a method for the drive tires to use it. That is so that it doesn't get caught on really anything as it's running around. This is for manual inspections, not for automatic inspections using the pre-existing ride system. So this is the unload area. And through the unload area, using this cast member door, as you can see, do not enter. Go ahead and close that. And through this door here, we get into the storage area and maintenance. And you'll notice that this is the door from earlier. And this does have like a pathway to kind of let crew members or maintenance people go back and forth to either side without having to use the cars or what have you. This is a... Oh, let me close that real quickly. This is another switch for the transfer track. This goes down into the pit. And this is my lovely, janky track building car. Essentially, this is goes to the motor, which drives everything else. And there are two sets of bearings, essentially. And let me pull out my handy-dandy little connection tool. And you can see there's two sets of bearings going to two different microcontrollers. And the way that it works is that essentially... Oh, and there's also a piston there. One of the controllers is to kind of help if you're on a slope. And it is used to set this platform at that specific angle for the slope. And the other allows me to kind of go underneath the track, because the section that actually moves is slightly smaller than the width of the track, so it lets me slide in underneath the track. And the piston helps with that. And you'll see about 2/3 into the time lapse I use it, and you can see me having a fun time using it. By fun time I mean struggled greatly. So again, this is temporary placement. This is the clear to advance button. And the way that this works, for those of you that don't know how a lot of unload situations normally work, the button for the unload typically the operator, when everything is ready, will press it, and the system will automatically advance the car when the next available position is available. In this specific situation, it would be hold 1, sorry. Load hold 1, or just hold 1. And I actually have numbered it wrong. It goes into hold 2. I am so sorry. It's a bit late here. Sorry. Goes into hold 2. And this is a crew member door. And it just lets us go from unload to the load and hold areas. And this button opens up the doors. And these are just when everything's ready. Doors open, cart goes forward, doors close. And that's pretty much how that works. So cart goes forward and is entering what would essentially be hold 2, or load hold 2. Door closes. And then hold 1 is clear apparently, so we'll go ahead and go to hold 1. the loading station is also clear. So we go into loading station. I think I've positioned myself roughly about right. And you'll notice that there has been a small bit of changes to the station. We now have numbers for the load paths. So the three lines that you'd get into for the load. Let me just make sure that's the correct width. So row 4, row 3, row 2, row 1. The button for the opening and closing of that hasn't changed, or the switch for that. This button has changed a small bit. The way that it now works is that it will not do anything unless this section is clear, which will be indicated by this light, so you don't have to even turn around. And that's just because even though visibly it's clear, the system might believe it's not clear for one reason or another. So that's an indication from the system whether or not it's clear. And all the system shenanigans is all over there, and I'll just show you that in just a second. So then we go into the safety check. And safety check is pretty similar as well. It hasn't really changed too much. It's just a button. And again, doesn't do anything because the next section is currently occupied. And when it's not occupied, this light will start flashing. So if I go down here, you can see this is our temporary control area. At the end of the day, this will actually be where all the block detection stuff is, but it will only be available for maintenance purposes. During normal operations, this would be closed off. You wouldn't go into here. Even during an emergency situation, this wouldn't be accessed. This is only for maintenance purposes. And there's buttons to indicate whether each section is available. So, and this is saying that this is in fact occupied because there's the car there. So that does work. This should not say that this is occupied, so that's a system fault, even though it is in fact not occupied right now. So I will have to take a look at that. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's because of this right here. This is our e-stop system, which is very simple. E-stop, release e-stop. And again, there will be like proper buttons everywhere. Each of the control sections will have a e-stop. So as you can see now, you might even be able to hear there's now drive tires moving. This should still say, yep, this is still occupied, but all of these sections should now say that they're be able to be unoccupied. And if I press this, oh, it's one of the that I need to verify on. I'm not sure why that's running. Because I don't think I ever set that one up. But as you can see, the button is now flashing. If I press this button, exactly nothing happens because that button does not do anything currently. It is supposed to start these wheels up, but I don't think I ever set up that system correctly. So let's go ahead and actually see that this next block is in fact occupied. And the way that this works is that when as I advance onto this coming section, now under normal circumstances this would immediately cause fault. This would immediately e-stop the entire attraction if a block says that suddenly there's two cars in a block. So block's already occupied and the next block gets dispatched. This would normally cause an e-stop situation, but I haven't set that up just yet. But you can now see that this is no longer occupied because we went over the sensor that says that it is in fact occupied. And as you can see, because I'm still over that sensor, it still says I cannot occupy that section. And that's that sensor right down there. And now I should be able to, as soon as I get into the base of the lift, I think it's I don't remember what I specifically called it. I think might have called it chain lift. That sounds going to drive me nuts. Actually, I can stop it in just a second, but now we can say that is in fact occupied. That's occupied as well. I'm going to go ahead and put on the e-stop so that everything just immediately shuts off. So even if cars are moving between blocks, like using the drive tire system, the drive tires will also shut off immediately if there is an e-stop situation. Just like there would be in real life. Whoa, it's like I'm actually trying to replicate it. So this is this is in case of any sort of situation where they need to unload a car on the chain lift or before the chain lift, and it's not really going to be a chain lift. I'll explain that in just a second. This is the platform that they would be using, and there's the stairs to go up the hill. And we have our all-important e-stop button. There are many of these. This is the only one that's actually around the track, though. And our two block indicators. So this indicates that yes, the block is in fact clear, or no, the block is in fact occupied. And that's for maintenance purpose, or for reset purposes, because you need to visually check to see whether or not a block is in fact occupied or not when you're resetting the system, because it just says all blocks are occupied when you e-stop the ride. And that's not technically how it works in real life, but because you would need to reset each block, and it would just say it's in error until you reset the block. But it's actually just easier if I just say everything's occupied in terms of the logistics of the game. Excuse me, let me catch my breath, and I have no water with me. Lovely. So, as I mentioned, the chain lift is weird. And the reason why is because it is not actually a chain lift, or rather, it was originally a chain lift, and it's no longer going to be a chain lift. What I'm planning on doing is actually have it be a launch lift. So, as you get farther and farther up the lift, these drive tires will actually spin faster and faster until the very last one should be theoretically running fast enough that it should be able to shoot the car up to the top of the lift hill and should be able to crest the hill. And if not, an error will occur and the ride will e-stop. Well, actually, that's not true. I might have it so that it just says that there's an error on launch. I might not have it do the e-stop just yet. Haven't decided on that. So here is the top of the hill, and as you can see, the stairs do in fact go all the way up here. And this, because it's now going to be a launch lift, this drive tires underneath will actually become a block brake, as opposed to just being the top of the lift hill block brake. It'll actually be a block brake in case of circumstances, and it will be able to engage or disengage as needed. So then from here you get a little dip. By little dip, I mean it's a bit of a dip. Whee! So fun. See, the springs are having fun trying to go through that. So here comes the interesting part. So this is the first time I tried really building a curve to be better suited for the roller coaster, and you can see during the video when I used that car, it was a bit janky of me building it. I think I need to actually still fix it because it looks like I've got something weird going on there. But you can see it, for the most part, gets through it moderately well. So there we go. And this one was custom made. I just kind of stepped through it, if you will. And this one used a curve generator just to see how the two set up. And as you see, it did need a bit of attention. It looks like it still does need some attention. Again, it used a voxel circle generator, so theoretically it should be a circle, but it doesn't really account for the fact that a car needs to be able to go through it. So, and I got it to go through here earlier, but apparently I can't anymore. So clearly that is something to investigate during the next video. Or rather, next build video, because I think the next video is probably going to be me working on the logic and probably a bit of the station as well. Because as nice as the station kind of looks right now, it really could use some better work. So, now that you've seen what the end product looks like, let's actually see what it actually turned out to be. So let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. Away we go!